Hey everyone, thanks for watching. This patient came to see me after moving here from another state where his previous dentist told him that one of his upper front teeth would need to be extracted due to a failed root canal. A few months later, he shows up at my office in a panic because he had the tooth removed at another office and there was no plan made for an implant. So here he is less than a week after the tooth was removed. The gums aren't looking bad, but I know that underneath there's probably a huge defect in the bone where the tooth was. That is not a good situation for a dental implant. On this x-ray you can see the darker area where there's a significant amount of bone loss, and without bone we can't really place an implant very well. On this CAT scan you can really get an appreciation for the void that was created by the missing tooth. So, to give him the best chance at placing an implant in the future, I suggested opening the site and placing a bone graft to fill in the area. This shows a before and after view of the area with the bone graft that has filled in the area nicely and preserved the height of the bone, and you can see it on the new CAT scan as well, which will make the soft tissue result much better. The next step in all this is generating a temporary tooth that will go on the implant. One of the challenges with this case is the defect at the top of where the tooth will be where it meets the gums. Because this is in a critical area of his smile, it's important to do everything possible to preserve the structure of the area to get a great result. There are some additional aesthetic challenges with his lateral incisor that's rotated, creating a gap. I could make his temporary wider to fill the space, but that would make his smile look really weird, so I'm going to keep it the same proportions as his natural tooth, and I'll deal with this space later in the final stages. During the surgical process, I began by contouring the gums a bit before I place the implant. Sometimes I can freehand the implant site, but in highly aesthetic areas like this, it was critical that the implant be placed in the perfect spot and angle, so I made a surgical guide that you can see here. Something I really like to do when placing implants is to insert a platelet fibrin clot that I'm holding here before putting the implant in. This is made from the patient's own blood and supercharges the body's healing. Here I'm placing a peg on the implant and using an instrument to measure how well the primary stability of the implant is, which it came out really well. So I feel good about putting a temporary on right away. If the readings weren't very good, I'd probably close up the implant with a healing collar and have him wear a removable flipper appliance, which nobody really likes. Then I placed an attachment that I can use to hold a temporary crown on using a clear stent I made from the 3D model that I made earlier. This is a very rough draft of the temporary, which I'll continue to reshape and polish to get the contours just right. One of the key parts of this is getting a good soft tissue response to the temporary so things don't collapse on the facial, which would create a huge defect, making it an aesthetic nightmare to fix. This is closer to the finished result for the temporary. You can see I've created a tapered root form that will support the gums and create a nice emergence profile for the final crown in a few months. Once I was happy with the soft tissue support, I did some final reshaping and occlusal checking. I want this to be completely out of contact with his other teeth while it's healing. And here's the near finished result for the temporary, ready to be put on the implant and finished up. He'll be wearing a retainer 24/7 for the next few months while things heal. This is after 3 weeks of healing. He's got really good soft tissue adaptation and great stability of the temporary. Once everything heals in a few months, this should turn out really nicely with an all porcelain crown. In a few months, I'll finish the video with the final results, which should be really cool, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.